Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. A hazy shade of winter. Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter. A hazy shade of winter. And the sky is a hazy shade of winter.
Who wants to do the final recap?
I could do it. It's a pretty quick one.
Sure.
All right. We begin in front of a few very imposing objects and creatures, the Mythalar and Oral. She addresses the party, claiming that their insolence to her rules and coming to this place and breaking all this stuff has awakened not her usual rage, but a calm rage within her. Questions why anyone would be foolish enough to oppose her and her might. And she knows that the party seeks to end her reign, but all she sees standing before her is trembling, quivering children. She summons a host of her minions, cold light walkers, ice mephits, ice trolls, all these crazy ice skeletal trolls, right? I think
They were giants, frost giants, skeleton
frost giants. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
It's okay.
And just this host of minions coming at the party from all fronts. There's just a slew of these things, and the fight begins. Shenanigans ensue almost instantly as Big Smile learns fairly quickly that this is not your usual ruffian, but a literal goddess, as she nearly fells him with her first blow. And the battle just goes on and on before finally she's felled. And the party takes a brief moment thinking that victory is within their grasps before a thundering voice booms out, laughing and just chiding them as a new form of Oral rises, and this icy humanoid, this towering, almost statuesque person begins just wailing on the party. There's fog clouds. You can't see her. I mean, it's insane what's going on. But with a very tactical use of telekinesis from V, manages to burn away a large chunk of her health. And she is nearly felled. But a new host of enemies join the fray as mind flayers enter the battlefield. And as she is eventually felled, so too does V go down. And it's through a skillful use of a couple of cure wounds that brings her back from being consumed by the mind flayers. Eventually, another host of enemies join the fray. Avarice and the Knights of the Black Sword come rushing in, trying to see if they can snatch victory from the jaws of our victory. But ultimately, we fell her in her second form. Knowing now that there's going to be the third form, the party's a little more prepared as the Queen of Frozen Tears appears before the party in her diamond ice form. She now is just surrounded by this raging blizzard, not able to be seen at all. 5 feet in front of your face is just white storms. But through just sheer willpower and malice, Sapphira enters the storm, braves it, pushes it off, and lands the killing blow on Oro, felling the goddess. With her defeated, the party quickly dispatches the. Oh, you know what? I forgot something also that Sapphira did early in the party, as she used her Jihad Kala to summon to her aid 6 spectral Regeds who just held the line against the forces of Oral so that the party could focus on their quarry. That was in like her second form, I believe, that she summoned them to us. And with Oral now defeated, and the Mind Flayers quickly dispatched with, no major threat to be looked at, and all of her minions defeated, the party stands before the Mythalar, ready to command it, as Avarice and company looks on, knowing that there's no chance that they can best the might of these Snowdrifters.
Absolutely. So, I want to begin this session with a cutscene. In the skies above Yithrin, Iskra, the giant eagle, soars with bloodied wings, its body marred by the brutal combat with the Mind Flayer Nautiloid ships. It pulls back from the ships in the air and suddenly senses its master's fall. It watches as the Frostmaiden's divine spark surges through the air in a column of radiance. With a final defiant screech that echoes across the ruin, Iskra violently dives toward one of the smaller ships. It crashes into this ship with immense force, talons rending metal and biomechanical flesh. The ship sunders upon impact, splitting and bursting into a roiling explosion of flames. Iskra's momentum carries her through the wreckage. The other 2 Nautiloid ships are caught in the ensuing explosion, taking some damage and veering off course. However, Iskra is heavily injured from the explosion and cannot pull itself out of its dive. The eagle plummets from the sky, its massive body trailing smoke and debris, and it crashes into the icy city below. After a thunderous impact, a somber silence follows as the dust settles. V. We cut to V. In this moment, a chilling presence invades your mind. It is the voice of the god brain, resonating with sinister malice. You may have triumphed today, but do not mistake this moment for victory. I am eternal. Your fleeting success means nothing to me. You have merely delayed the inevitable. I will return for you, my child. And know this: those who you call friends will not always be there to aid you. They will leave you, one by one. And when they do, I will come. And you will be left to face your fate alone. You will be mine, my most valuable thrall. Relish in your moments of freedom, my child, for they are numbered. And we cut back to the Illithid ships, this giant black one that's smoldering and has, fires on it, and the one of the tentacles has been severed. And another smaller Nautiloid ship. They open black tears into reality and slip quietly and calmly into them as it closes again. We see the party standing before, as the biting supernatural cold begins to ebb away, a collective sigh of relief seems to hang in the air. Auril is gone. her icy grip on the land broken. No longer can she cast her spell over Icewind Dale and cloak it in darkness. All that remains now is to activate the Mythalar and clear the skies of Icewind Dale once and for all. You see Avarice and her Knights of the Black Sword step forward. Avarice's red eyes, a burning mix of rage and defeated resignation. She fixes her gaze on all of you and then to the ground at her feet. So, you have won. You have defeated the Frostmaiden herself.
That's right. Nobody beats the Snowdrifters 3 times.
And you have conquered Yithrin. And you have banished the spindle. She looks up, and you can still see this just fury within her. But you can tell it is subdued. You have taken everything from me. The spindle, the relic I have sought for so long, is gone. It was my chance to please Levistus, my one chance to achieve the power and reward I have dreamed of. I would kill you, all of you, had I the strength. Then her fiery gaze turns to Quintus. I didn't think you had it in you.
Apparently I didn't.
You chose to forsake your own soul, to cast aside your own salvation. For what?
Listen, there's nothing to do about it now. It's a long walk back to Luskin. Or should start now.
She nods. I am furious, but not foolish. I know there is nothing more that I can do now. You have proven yourself stronger and more resourceful than I ever anticipated. So I will extend a truce. I will find a new path, another way to achieve my goals. You know, we were only enemies because you stood in my way. Let myself and my men leave here in peace. And as long as our paths never cross again, we need not be enemies again.
I guess we're not actually gonna let her leave here, are we?
I don't give a fuck what happens anymore. I'm done.
Do we have a truce?
Sapphira, you're always one for justice. We're just gonna let her leave?
I'll look over to Big Smile and I say, normally I would agree, but we just fought a fucking god.
We just fight it. We fucking won, Sapphira.
I look over to Avarice and I say, you have your exits. Walk out of here safely and securely and make sure that you don't cross paths with the Snowdrifters once more.
She nods. And she will motion to her companions that they should exit. As she is leaving beneath the spire of Iriel Larthus where the Mythalar is, she will turn back and say, relish in your victory, Snowdrifters. Let us all hope we never meet again. And a little tiny little smirk curls across her face as she turns and leaves. You have the vague suspicion that she's going to cast teleportation circle and probably go way back home, like way back home. Okay. And you are left alone in Yithrin. The power of the Mythalar thrumming before you. What would you like to do?
Guess now's your chance, Gabar.
Yeah, you're up. Good.
Suppose wouldn't be so bad to see the sun again. Take an hour. We deserved it. I'll begin this. Focusing on the Mythalar. You especially, Big Smile, look like right fucking shite.
I feel like right fucking shite.
And I'll begin attuning to the Mythalar.
Okay, so you know
Does
that
this
you must.
take an attunement slot?
It does.
All right, so I'm gonna have to drop attunement to, I suppose, the astronomy archive. Then.
Okay. So you know that you must touch the staff of Irilarthus to the Mythalar. You don't have to maintain it forever. You'll sort of get the feeling of it. You'll know when you'll know. So you approach the Mythalar with it surging with raw magical energy. Intense heat radiates from it, making it almost impossible to get close to. As the staff makes contact with the smooth surface of the Mythalar, a surge of raw weave courses through it. I gotta put you guys onto the map. I was so excited. You now feel that you are attuning to the Mythalar. With each passing moment, the connection between you and the Mythalar deepens. Despite the searing heat, you press on. Every heartbeat, you feel your senses heightened to the subtle fluctuations of the weave that course in and around you. A deep symbiotic relationship forming between you, the staff and the Mythalar. After 10 minutes of oppressive heat and power, you form a strong connection, allowing you to stand back to continue your attunement.
Yeah, if I don't have to be next to this thing, I'll
No.
take a few steps back.
Yeah, you step back and you're almost smoldering. Like the whatever fringes on your clothes and little bits of your beard have charred from the intense heat of the Mythalar, but you are usually you're mostly undamaged. Now, in the hour it's going to take Gabar to attune to the Mythalar, what would you guys like to do?
Rest.
Yeah,
Okay.
if he's resting, she's
That's
totally
fine.
out.
KO.
You can get a short rest, no problem.
KO'd.
The city is eerily quiet. Like it was quiet before. Now it is super quiet.
After some time, Sapphira feels the connection to the Jihad Kala disconnect
Mhm.
as the enchantment kind of goes away, and she just falls back
Lays in the
to the
snow.
snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anything interesting occur, or do we move ahead to the completion of the attunement?
We're rolling hit die here, huh? All right.
Mostly just
Never know.
You never know. I guess so.
mostly just you guys just like recovering. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. Like I think we were all pretty conky I know V at least went down. I was at
Multiple
4
times.
hit points for like basically the whole fight. We probably looked pretty bad.
Beat up. Oh my God, yes. And for parts of your face are starting to blacken, or like maybe your arms and hands are starting to blacken from like legitimate frostbite.
Fingers,
Because
yeah.
just like the fucking Frostmaiden being so close to you gives you frostbite. So yeah, I mean, you guys are very beaten, very bloodied, very bruised.
Yeah,
very
Illiken's the
intense.
only one who looks okay, so he's probably like tending to wounds a
Sure.
little bit.
Sure.
Wow.
Okay. Gabar. The attunement is complete. And with another surge of power, the Mythalar settles. You become acutely aware of the vastness of power at your fingertips. You, the staff, the Mythalar are all one conduit of the raw powers of the weave. And I will show you the Mythalar, as it is now your magic item.
Oh shit.
I mean, that's how they work.
Oh boy. That's a wall of text. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Wow, spell Mythalar wrong.
Copy and paste.
Basically,
How wide is this in diameter?
One.
it just tells you how many charges it has automatically.
Oh. Oh, okay. There it is. 50 feet.
Ah.
It's a small Mythalar.
It is a small one, yeah.
That's how it flew the city.
Mhm. Yeah, so you know that you can make the city fly with it. You can recharge magic items instantaneously. You can only do it after once per day, or once per item per day. Yeah, once per item per day. You can also control the weather in 100-mile radius, which is basically all of Icewind Dale. And you can use it to cast spells with instead of your own spell slots.
Oh.
Yeah, and you have 50 levels of spell you could cast.
Oh. Did Gabar just become the most powerful wizard in
I mean,
Forgotten Realms?
they're only equivalent to the slot level that you have, right? So
Right.
you can't cast 9th level spells with it.
But I
because you
can
don't have-
cast a near
endless-
unlimited amounts of disintegrate.
Yes, I mean, yes, maybe not. I mean, and an unlimited amount of like magic missiles for sure. You know, something a little lower. Disintegrate. What is that? 5th level or something?
6. That's the highest level spell that I have.
I mean, it is
Yeah, like-
quite a lot of disintegrates.
Oh my.
Yeah, so there's the Mythalar.
But I can't raise Yithrin through the glacier. Can I?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Well, I mean, I don't know why Aerial Earthis wouldn't simply. Is he stupid?
No, because he couldn't
I know,
activate
it's a
the
joke,
Mythalar
it's a
while the
joke.
spindle was in. Yeah.
Oh shit. All right. Gabar knows that because he has 20 intelligence compared to
Yeah.
Will's like 10.
I will say, as you look up, it's not like you can see the sky. You don't know how dense this ice is above you.
Maybe not crush ourselves to death immediately after doing this.
It'd be a quick end. I wouldn't have to use any of the things that I've prepped.
And if you can do the weather, Gabar, we can just get out of here the old-fashioned way, eh?
Gabar's doing the 1,000-yard stare for real, for real, for real, for real. He's like really going over the decisions here.
So what does it do?
Well, I could try to lift the city out of this glacier. I could control the weather. I need not use energy of my own capacity to cast spells. I can channel it through the Mythalar.
Well, the weather's the obvious one, right?
I suppose.
Sure.
All right. Let me look up the control weather spell right
Don't,
quick.
because I don't like the way it works. So I will say you can make it whatever fucking weather you want. If you want it to rain, you can make it rain. You want it to be fucking, not cloudy, dark night sky, you can do that. The way it works is like you move it up one level or down one level, and I fucking hate that. This is like the 9th level version of it, or whatever,
Okay, so I can make
The only thing
it-
you really need is the 10 minutes. Like, that's the only important thing from the spell itself.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so I'm going to begin over the next course of 10 minutes, channeling the energy of the Mythalar, to begin radiating out. I'm just trying to think of how hot I want it. Do we turn this into Cholt, or do we just make people not freeze to death anymore?
It lasts the whole day, so whatever you want to do.
It's the last time we had a nice summery Luskan Dagobah. Sea breeze coming off the surf there.
It does sound nice. I suppose we don't need to cause a flash heat to cause mass floods throughout Icewind Dale. I'm just gonna bring it to thinking about the mass floods that would probably happen on evaporating a bunch of water. I'll just I'm gonna do stage 4 cool.
Okay.
For now, and we'll bring it up maybe a little more the next day.
Okay.
50 in the fall is way different than 50 in the summer.
So, after 10 minutes, the Mythalar pulses with a surge of magical energy.
But the sky is clear. There's sunshine.
Cool.
If it's daytime, I don't know what time
Yeah, it is still like afternoon.
Perfect.
So, we get a shot. We pull away really fast. And we get a shot of the Reged Glacier. From afar, this wall of ice. As the sky above it begins to change. Dark clouds part and disperse, revealing a brilliant blue expanse beyond. The golden sun, long shrouded in darkness, emerges from behind the veil of storms and mists, carrying warm rays across the frozen landscape. And we see we get panning montage shots of just beautiful landscapes of the sun rising over Icewind Dale. We see wildlife emerging from their hidden sanctuaries, basking in the newfound warmth of the sun. Reindeers raise their heads, birds take flight, polar bears emerge from caves. I want to show you this handout. Sort of keep this in your mind as we imagine the rest of it. In the streets of 10 towns, the struggling people look up with tear-filled eyes, their faces illuminated by the gentle caress of the sunlight. For so long, they have endured the hardships of the endless winter, but now, hope thaws their frozen hearts. Speaker Shane, Sheriff Southwell, they sort of appear. We get a shot of Captain Arlagath, Trovis, Nimsy Huddle, Scram Sacks, Benicio's used goods and antiquities, Olivessa Untapor, and even Maxildinar and his lackeys. Then we cut again, and we see the remaining Reged warriors, bloody and weary from their long battle, pause to gaze up at the clear blue sky above. We cut again. In the spine of the world mountains, the Goliaths stand tall amidst the towering mountain peaks, their stoic expressions softened by the gentle touch of the sunlight. They raise their heads up to the sky, feeling the warmth seep into their bones. Among them, Nora Riverjumper, Chani Bark Tamer, and Rahi Skydreamer raise their fists in the air. Cheers and cries of joy ring out from the surrounding Goliaths for their triumphant chieftain. Amidst thawing ice, we see in a distance Oyamanartuk standing proudly. We cut again, and we see this fucked up looking teepee as the goblins of Karkalok are momentarily awestruck by the sight before them. They emerge from their shadowy dens and squint at the light. Mama Booyog places her hand in front of her eyes to block out the brightness. From the depths of the sea, Angajuk breaches the surface, the ship on his back, outlined by the golden rays of sunlight, and with a joyful cry that echoes across the waves, he dives back down. The sunlight shines over Yalmut, the black cabin, the abandoned Sunblight Fortress, the cackling chasm, the lost spire, and the elven tomb. And high up on a mountain, Voss the Githyanki pauses in his solitary journey, his silvered armor gleaming in the sunlight. He looks out across the entire expanse of Icewind Dale below him. And that's how we pull into the camera shot where we can see the overhead of all of Icewind Dale. The once dark and frozen landscape now glows with vibrant life from under the golden sun. A sense of unity rises in the hearts of all who witness it. For in the warmth of the sun's embrace, they find hope, strength, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. You guys don't see shit. But, Gabar, you have a strange feeling that everything worked out just fine.
I'm gonna cast another spell that takes 10 minutes to cast. And I will cast Control Weather to bring it back down to Icy Tundra.
Okay.
No, I'm doing Clairvoyance.
Uh-huh.
I want to see the sun, so I'm gonna spend 10 minutes casting Clairvoyance and put my sensory eye. Where's a nice spot for Gabar? You know what? It's on the porch of Big Smile's house, back in Bryn Shander.
Perfect, sure.
And looks out. I want to see 10 towns.
You do. You see people wandering out into the street, looking up at the sky. Tears of joy running down their faces.
We did good.
The work kit?
Well, you'll be able to see for yourself soon enough. It's beautiful out there.
It's almost a sight that you've forgotten. It's been over 2 years, since you've seen the sun at all.
4 months.
For like 2 minutes.
But now you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that The Frostmaiden can no longer cast her curse on this land. And now that the skies are clear, you did it. That's the end.
Big Small will go up to Gabar and put a big hand on his little shoulder and see. See, I told you we could take her.
Never doubted you.
Pat on the back, bring you in for a hug.
Hug him back. I think it's time we put this place behind us. All of it behind us.
I agree. We must move on to better things. New tomorrow.
Sapphira stands up from her big snow angel on the ground. Propping herself up with the sphere, she says, "Good job, Snowdrifters."
Belen will pipe up. I'm inclined to agree. Excellent work, all of you.
Well, time to go.
Just back the way we came, or
I owe you all this at least. And I'll start writing an infernal on the ground.
Okay.
And a minute later, almost a perfect circle is done. All right, stand in it.
What's this?
It's how you're getting out of here. Or we're getting out of here. I'm not fucking walking all that way back.
No, that's fair.
you had a teleportation circle this whole time?
Where the fuck were we gonna go with it?
At least we don't have to take these dead fucking dogs out of the bag of holding here and ride them all the way home.
Well, we'll show up in Caradinaval, so probably still
Sure,
need them.
right. At least we get to see the sun.
But anyway, hey, let's make it quick. Is he coming with us to the Shield Guardian?
Come on, Shieldsy.
Yeah, he
Come on, Shieldsy.
walks up towards you.
Yeah, I'll cast teleportation circle to Caradinaval.
Yep. So, do you all step into it?
Fuck yeah.
No.
What? Why?
I want to raise this city. I'm going to try. I have the power of the Mythalar in my hands.
It's going through his head. It's going through his head.
I am not about to.
Drag him in.
I will disintegrate the shit out of you. I don't. It's oh man, I don't know. It's gonna take some convincing to get Gabar to leave this behind. I want to try to see if I can't raise this city and keep the power of the Mythalar in my hands.
I suppose better to keep the obelisk buried under rubble.
You don't know who's going to be able to hold on to this power, or who's going to be able to find it.
I was under the impression that you possibly were going to destroy Yithrin.
That was before I realized the power of the Mythalar.
Yeah, well, it is one of those things.
This is insane. I mean, literally the most powerful wizard in the Sword Coast could be Gabar if he just simply raises this city from the glacier.
Gabar Villanark incoming?
Yeah, it seems like Gabar is starting to get the power to his head, like for real.
They literally had this conversation with Illican before we entered the spire.
Does anybody say anything to Gabar?
Powerful wizard, as in you can delete any bounty that's out there for us.
I could do more than delete bounties. I could.
You know what happened to the last wizard who controlled this?
He was a fool. Irilarthus,
Really? He was more of a fool than you.
I didn't try to fuck with the spire. I let you get rid of that. I clearly could see the danger in that and let you rid us of it. What possible? This is not some world-ending device. This is a mythalar. I just saved 10 towns. We saved 10 towns with this just now. And we are going to crush it beneath the glacier?
I don't particularly care one way or the other, but are you ready to fight off every person who's going to come after this and try and take it from you? Not to mention all the extraplanar beings.
To control the weather, I must use the mythalar. Without the mythalar, I no longer. What's to stop Oral from coming back and engulfing all of 10 towns in another endless winter without this device?
It's probably better off here where nobody else can really encounter it as easily. It took us a long time to get to this thing.
And with the pathway clear behind us, the drow or the Knights of the Black Sword or any other enemies that we had to fight to beat them here could simply waltz in and take this power for themselves if we don't take it with us to protect and to use.
Now, are you saying that for us to protect or for you to protect?
I would be a sword. That's fair.
There can be much good from great power such as this. I hope you would be willing to work with me on a plan I have to better protect Icewind Dale against future threats.
Okay, I just want to input real quick. Valen is pissed. Pissed. She's conflicted, but she's pissed because the same fucking words that are coming out of his mouth were coming out of her mouth when she was like, look at this thing that can turn illusions into real things. And you guys were like, oh, too much power. So it's okay when Valen does it, or it's okay when Gabar does it, but when Valen does it, oh no, can't trust her.
I feel like most of the party's against Gabar right now.
And I mean, true, but I will say, I think Valen does say something like that, right? Where she's like, how dare you, like, scold me for wanting power like this, and you get it, and now it's perfectly reasonable.
Well,
Like,
I can't.
I'm mad for Valen, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
empathize with her because really, like, honestly, you guys have been on her ass about her being like too power hungry, and now Gabar's like, well, what about this? So I think she does like legitimately be like, Gabar, you are a fucking dick for this.
To which point Savari then says, actually, you know what? She has a point. Valen, Gabar, you gotta let this go, all right? You don't want to become another Irilarthus. Trust me.
As I was so readily reminded by all of you, the Netherese Empire fell because of power like this. And I was told by you all, or reminded by you all about this.
Or can you just control the weather with the staff? Do you need to raise the city all the way up to be in control of the weather?
It's not about the city, it's about the Mythalar.
Yeah, but
Got
still,
rid
yeah,
of the
you do
storm.
have to be within 30 feet of the Mythalar, basically to use any of its effects.
All this time, I talked about how wizards grow fat with power. And here I am. You're all right. I don't know what I was. You're right. I see now why other wizards do it. And I guess other wizards aren't as lucky as I am to have people to pull them out of it. So, all right, you're right. Let's go before I change my mind.
We're going to leave it or we're going to destroy it?
Where's this teleportation circle to take us?
Identify. Unless anybody else knows one.
How far away is Caradenival from this place?
Very.
More than a mile?
Oh, yeah.
If I were to cast Scroll of the Comet,
Huh.
how long would we be able to cast it and then jump in the portal
Oh,
before?
you can. Oh, yeah, you can do it.
Oh,
and
okay,
then-
then yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Charles
I was
a comet fucking rockets out of the sky, so it's gonna take a little while to get here.
Yeah,
And then-
teleportation circle only has a 6-second duration.
all right, and then 500-foot radius. That wouldn't destroy the ragheads outside, right?
No, definitely
right.
not. Definitely not.
Well,
'Cause you
they're
guys
about
walked
to-
for like a long time just to get from the Caves of Hunger. There was a long period of walking before you even got to Yithrin.
If you want to raise the city and then do that, maybe.
I mean, it might crush through this fucking glacier. The city did.
I mean, I was assuming that it would.
Well, I mean, the comet can crush through the glacier. Yeah, down pressure better than up pressure.
Does anyone else have a better way to raise the city? Should we
Raise?
Or raise.
raise?
Yeah.
Raise,
With a
RAZE. Or is that what I said? No, I meant raise, like, yeah, destroy.
destroy.
And not like we really owe her anything. But I don't know, do we need to at least warn Veneranda of the impending doom?
That's the cyborg lady thing upstairs.
Yep. Or do we just let her die with her beloved city?
She's been dead for a long time.
But there is a relic, long forgotten, I think.
All right.
Normally not to sacrifice a life, but I think hers is well past due.
And there's none else in the city that needs saving before we leave it to its fate. I can think of.
What's the name of the library assistant?
Golden face.
The golden mask dead guy.
They're
Yeah.
dead anyways.
I like that.
Shocky got out of here safely, right?
That's
we're good
true.
there.
Yeah.
Safely. He's home.
He's home.
Back to haunt the next campaign.
It's got to be somebody related to Jakashagi because takes place after the next campaign's going to take place. He would have been imprisoned. But his brother's like, I'm looking for my brother that's been imprisoned.
Kagushaki.
Shago Jackie.
Chagu Jackie.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, if that teleportation circle is ready to go, I suppose I'll pull out the scroll of the comet.
Mhm.
And read the incantation
Absolutely.
written on there.
Absolutely. So, as you finish the incantation, the arcane circle ready to go, we get. Have you guys ever played Final Fantasy? You know, in Final Fantasy, when you do one of those super moves that like does a quick cutscene. We can see like up into the outer space, a giant fucking meteor just appears and begins plummeting towards Earth at an extremely fast rate. Flames and stuff picking up on it as it hits the atmosphere. And you guys teleport away? Yeah?
Good time to go. Yep.
Okay. You all step into the teleportation circle, including Sonar and Valin and the Shield Guardian. And your stomachs lurch into your throats as you find yourselves in a dark chamber. However, we do linger on Yithrin for a few more moments as suddenly light flares and it sort of turns the camera white where you can't really see anything. There's that ringing noise and just the sound of just crushing and everything getting destroyed. And we can see in the night sky, we'll see like a deer raise its head and look as like a fucking comet flies through the air. You know, he's not close enough to the glacier to like be damaged, but like just it sees a shooting star, pretty big, land. And then we cut to you guys. You guys are in a cellar in Caer Dineval that has basically been emptied of equipment and stuff. It's empty. Nothing here. And as you exit out of Caer Dineval, you find the entire city destroyed. Complete, utter rubble from the Chartland Dragon attack, except for the pretty much untouched Caer, but there is no people living in, and their bodies would have been long covered in snow by this time, devoured by the hungry animals. So you exit out into the ruins of Caer Dineval. What would you guys like to do?
I have a lot of rebuilding to do here, Spyro.
We do. But I suppose it's going to take a little bit to get back to Brynjander, right?
Oh yeah.
Perhaps we should take a moment to rest.
Oh, I forgot. As you step out through the open doors of Caer Dineval, you can see the sky, a beautiful orangish yellow hue as the sun is beginning to set. And its warmth still radiates the air. All of you can see the immense beauty of the sunset.
Ain't she a sight for sore eyes?
As far looks at it as if this is the first time she's ever seen it.
Did it, kid. Good job.
We did it.
Illiken is like kind of blinded from all the eyes on his robe, like all
Oh,
set.
sure, yeah.
I need a moment.
I forgot how bright it was, actually.
Flynn, can you still make use of these? Like tip the bag of holding open as the dead unthawing dogs just
Oh, they're
like
skeletons now.
sludge out.
Yeah,
Oh.
they're just when she animates them next, it's gonna be like in Boulder's Gate where it leaves behind this big like bloody mess.
Dog score pile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
couple
Uh,
of vertebrae and spinal fluid.
Yes, and
Oh.
then the rest is gonna be there. So they're gonna be skeletal dogs when she raises them. But yes, she can, and it's gonna take you 2 days on dog sled to get back to. Oh wait, no, it's double time. So it'll take you 1 whole day to get back to Gender, if that's where you're headed. I imagine so. Only town left.
Yeah.
But you are more than welcome to rest tonight in the care. It's still pretty well furnished and stuff. Not entirely because it was raided a couple times, but there is enough for you guys to like make do. No luxuries, basically.
No thieves or Durgar we have to fight or anything.
No.
You just want to punch the biggest big smile one more time.
Waste of a short rest.
He wants to roll initiative one more time.
Seems like this is as good a spot as any. Tomorrow, first thing, we'll hit the road then, eh?
Big Smile just goes in and punches the innkeep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a day.
Sure. So you guys huddle around, in one of those side chambers where all the Knights of the Black Sword would sleep. Yeah. I mean, you can try to find a rest. Is there anything you guys do or talk about?
Yeah, Illiken will speak up as everyone's starting to settle down, and he'll just say, like, do all of you plan to go to 10 towns now once we have the dogs ready?
Tomorrow.
Wish to return home?
I still have much to do. I may wish to part with all of you for now. Go back to the mountains. There's much work for me to do there.
Surely you can come back to 10 towns with us to start, though, just for a day. I don't know how many of us plan to stay in, but it'd be good if we could go back as the Snowdrifters. People should know that you did this too, Ilkin.
It might help with the reputation of Goliath and Ten Towner relations.
I suppose, what difference would a day make? And he nods in agreement.
You
And
had
it-
a plan, you said, to protect 10 towns with the power of the Mythalar at your disposal. What was that plan?
No,
Out of
nothing.
curiosity.
Nothing too complicated. I simply thought the Mythalar would help, but my plan did not really rely on that. But before I can set it into motion, I must go back home. And I've made my decision. I must unite the Thun Lakalaga and Akhenathi. We can be divided no longer with the plethora of threats in these lands. And then once they are united, after some time, I will come back to 10 towns. And perhaps Goliath and 10 Towner can work together towards a better future.
I can see like the Iriel Arthas like slogans like Goliaths bringing you a better tomorrow.
Mhm.
I wish to see that as well. And I hope one day that I hope not too soon in the future that we can let you in to the 10 towns with open embrace.
Well, what about you, Sapphira? What plans have you?
I guess just to rebuild the 10 towns. I can't. This city has been my home for years now. And to see it in such disarray has been just disheartening. The sun is out, the day is new. We need to get rebuilding, and we need to make this place better than it ever was. And I'll make sure of it.
They're probably gonna need a new speaker somewhere along the line there, Spyro.
Probably a few. Wait a minute. You don't think I'm speaker material, do you?
Couldn't think of anyone better.
Me?
Pat on the shoulder.
She kind of like looks a little flustered at the moment. Just me?
I don't think anyone else would genuinely have the 10 towns' best interests at heart. No one would have that more than you.
I guess I never thought about it like that. What about you? Big smile. I'm sure you have plans after all this nonsense.
Some plans here. Look to Gabar quickly. Then probably get out of here as quick as we came. Something about that sea air that's calling back to me.
We have a house here, but 10 Towns isn't our home. I think it's time.
Right?
Skin. We've been talking. I think we don't need to be running anymore.
Just gotta make one stop along the way, I think.
Put some things right.
Did we ever figure out who Angajuke's master was, by the way?
No, I don't think we did. We have a name, but
That sounds like one you're going to write down and ask me next session.
Anga.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be. We had a good run as the Snowdrifters, but I think after we arrive in Brinchender, that's probably it.
What about you, B? Calls from another world.
Expecting everyone to part ways so quickly. I really enjoyed the time spending it all with you, but I guess wherever the wind takes me, I find adventure elsewhere.
Can I cast Prestidigitation and make a little puff of wind blow south?
That's supposed to mean something. I'm not very good with directions.
Oh, if you want to join us, got
Maybe
business.
for a while. If that's all right with you.
Always got room for one more. Quintus. Time to hang out with us before your soul rots in eternal damnation or whatever the deal is.
I have matters to attend to. And I think he just leaves.
Should have asked.
Oh, God, I'm so stoked.
Wait, Quintus leaves?
He just walks out of the room, right?
Yeah, he just goes outside and stares at the sun.
Oh,
for a
I thought you meant
while.
like he like starts walking
Yeah,
off
no.
into the sunset. I'm
Like
what?
he's still rather take the sleds than walk.
Right.
That's very American Psycho. I have to go return some videotapes. And just leaves.
But yeah, he also takes a minute to actually mourn all the people he can't be now with a singular goal.
Rest of the party. I hope he's going to be okay, really.
Dealt a tough hand.
I hope all of us are okay.
We're all going our separate ways. Who gets custody of Shieldsy?
Valen says, I was going to wait for a more momentous occasion. And she will approach Big Smile, who I imagine is sitting. And she will reluctantly remove the necklace and place it over his neck. Though she will say, though I doubt he even responds to it now. Seems he has a mind of his own.
Take care of him well, regardless.
Shield Guardian does his little boxing stance.
I'll look at Kabar like we got a pet, we got a dog.
You have to take him out 3 times a day.
I'll take care of him.
All right. Well, looks like at least half the Snowdrifters won't be separated so easily.
Never truly be separated. Geo crying, IRL, no big deal.
No, my eyes like tear up sometimes, like when I yawn and like for some other stuff. But it's
Yep,
very
yep, yep.
fitting. Very fitting for the situation.
My eyes tear up sometimes when I go through like a huge character arc for 2 years. This thing.
I think because I do want to do have one more scene of you guys like actually saying goodbye. I think we can save whatever left of the conversations for that. However, I do kind of want to fade out on laughter. You know, I think something happens where maybe Illican is really tearing up, you know, and
Yeah, he is.
He
The
is.
biggest guy out of all of them.
yeah, and you know, you guys all share a laugh about that, and we kind of fade out, and we fade back in. It's get dusk. You had another day of sunshine, surprisingly, without the Mythalar. Though not as clear. The clouds are intermittent, but it is still summer. And we can see the Snowdrifters on their undead dogs, sleds. And in the distance is the hill upon which Bryn Shander rests, illuminated by sunlight. A sight which I imagine barely any of you have really, you know, really remember, let's say that. And we cut again to you guys at the gate. And there are like guards at the gate standing ready. And as you approach, they're kind of freaked out about the dogs. Who goes there?
Snowdrifters.
Did you say Snowdrifters?
I did.
Snowdrifters. Yeah, they begin muttering to themselves. Snowdrifters. He looks up to the wall. There's like a palisade up there or something. And he's like, the Snowdrifters! The Snowdrifters! And a cry begins to ring out throughout Bryn Shander. The Snowdrifters, the Snowdrifters, the Snowdrifters, the Snowdrifters. Right? And as the gates to the town open, you are greeted with dozens of smiling faces. As you walk through the crowd, people stick their hands out to touch you and thank you. And over a little bit of time of you walking through into town, the chant Snowdrifters, snowdrifters, snowdrifters hangs in the air. And we get this sort of shot of all of you walking into the town, surrounded by the remaining haggard citizens of the 10 towns. And we lift upwards out of the game. We're now going to have a little chat. So, here's the thing. You end up talking to, like, as soon as you get to town, people are all over you. And then once that sort of settles down, important people begin to talk to you, right? Like Speaker Shane and Arlagath and stuff like that. And they're updating you on the status of the 10 towns. And you discover that you may be needed to not leave right yet, just to help sort some things out. Formalities mostly. For example, Quinn Lupus has been ousted and jailed for the murder of Speaker Matthew already. Flynn kept to her word, and Untapor, and how you made him shout out in the middle of the street a confession. He has been jailed and ousted. However, upon interrogation, the sheriff Southwell has learned that apparently Lupus took his orders from Captain Scath, who was Dugan's whole sort of impromptu speaker, who has also been ousted and jailed. Now, the political climate in 10 towns is a mess, and the remaining speakers are looking to you all for guidance on these matters. So, what do you guys want to happen? We're just gonna talk about it. No need for dice rolls. No need. We're just gonna talk about how do you guys help alleviate the political climate.
Who is the main Bryn Shane
Nerith.
chick?
Or
Jane.
Duvessa Shane.
Yes.
Bro, put her in charge.
Well, I mean, she is
she
in
is
charge.
in charge.
Yeah.
But there's
Done.
there is two speakers that are well. First of all, Maxodon are still in power. No one has snitched on Maxodon.
That's one of the bad guys.
He's the main
He's
bad
the main
guy.
one.
Is that the
He's a
Dragonborn
member
one?
of the
No.
he's a member of the Zentarum.
No, Janithar was Janithar's boss. Max Eldinar was the guy in
Right.
Targos.
Right.
Yeah, the douchebag. Come on.
Fuck.
Oh, the guy that knows your boxing. His boss.
You know what we should do? Trial by combat.
Well, I think that the guilty has to declare trial by combat.
He's not guilty of anything yet.
Not yet, but he's about to be.
You're right.
I
So
mean,
you
I'm gonna skip town anyway. I could just kill him.
Is that how we handle it? Like, what
don't-
happens?
I was gonna say like
Oh, but
I
interrogation.
interrogation.
imagined you guys gather evidence now that his shroud is gone, right? Like the people protecting him are diminishing, and like for example, Kranich Seaver from Caradinival is like a weathercock. He just picks the winning side. You know, same thing with like Bram Carter from Bremen. You know, they just pick a winning side. So if Maxwell Dinar is starting to lose his support, where he helped get two of the speakers in who murdered another speaker, it's not looking great for Maxwell Dinar, right? So he doesn't have his support right now. So there is a possibility of like, hey, do you have any information on Maxwell Dinar? We can help oust him. It'll take 2 or 3 days, and you guys can get a proper trial for Maxwell Dinar.
I feel there's
That's kinda
no
what
way
Sapphire
that
wants to do.
Sapphira would not let Quintus just murder almost this thing and death.
Ellican would be fine with it. Or at least he would be like, just
I've seen worse.
challenge him.
I can teleport 500 feet. Try and keep up with me.
Okay. So Sapphira, is that how you want to handle the situation? You want to take charge of it and be like, hey, I'm going to oust Speaker Maxwell Dinar.
I think so, yeah. She
Okay.
leads like interrogation efforts amongst the
Yeah.
people who have been ousted,
Yeah, you
And
find a
once
couple
enough information
turncoats.
is gathered, we're able to kind of like pin down it's Maxilinar.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is a proper trial. Takes a couple days for everything to sort of blow over, but Maxilinar is convicted and is jailed. Now there are 3 open speakerships. I think there's going to be a lot of council speaker meetings that you guys have to sit through too. So I imagine one of them, they decide to just not have Dugan's Hole anymore. So they're going to be 9 towns from here on out. Just because there's so little of them left. They didn't provide any, what's it called, like trade or anything. They were a self-sufficient town. If in time, they'll still call themselves the 10 towns, and if in time they have the ability to expand back out towards Dugan's Hole, they will do so. But for right now, it's just going to be the 9 towns. So technically, there's only 2 speakerships that are open. If anyone just wants to swoop in and become a speaker, because you will have the people's vote.
I mean, obviously. So is Sapphira gonna go for like Tourmaline?
Do you
I
want
think
it?
so, yeah.
Yeah, it's open. Quinn
She got
Lucas has been
convinced.
Alphys.
She got convinced.
So over time, Sapphira sort of gets the idea that maybe you want to be Speaker of Tourmaline.
Yep.
Oh my God. So you have the people's vote for sure. You're a fucking Snowdrifter. And like I've established previously, like why Trovis has it, right, is that, you know, they want someone that will protect them. They don't have to be a politician. The more like sturdy a person is, the better they are likely to get speakership. Doesn't really have much to do with political savvy. So you will be elected. And I think, okay, that's good. Cool.
Belen want to be a speaker?
No, Belin's going with Gabar. They're going to try to do something with all the magical information that they have.
No, Helen.
Oh, Helen is
Oh.
unfortunately passed,
Right.
which is super unfortunate because she definitely would have went for a speakership.
We could back maybe Arlagath as Speaker of East Haven.
Oh, look, that's right.
Thought she already was.
She is. The
Oh,
open
she
one,
is?
yeah, she is.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I will
In the iPad
I'll
lady.
also mention, so Bram Carter's Bremen and Krennic Seaver, they were like kind of iffy. There was another guy,
Shander Froth.
Froth. So Untapor will take his position. And that's overruled, no matter what people say, that's overruled by the Council of Speakers. Because Maxwell Dinar didn't have a vote. And because she kept challenging him. Untapor becomes the Speaker of Goodmead.
Okay.
I imagine the speakership can just be filled by a militiaman or something if none of you. You know, I'm sure that there's someone fit for the position of,
Yeah,
I think,
like
what is
Southwell gets promoted and somebody else becomes captain.
Oh, yes. Yeah, actually, yes. That actually makes a lot of sense. So yeah, Southwell will become a speaker. Wow, I didn't expect that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Sonar for speaker. Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that we can talk of out of game that you guys want to sort of accomplish in the 10 towns in this brief amount of time?
If Sapphire's gonna stay and be the speaker, then Big Smile would give her the deed to his cabin as his like vote of confidence. You're gonna have to fix up the roof a bit, but she'll get the job done.
You sure about this?
Make better use of it than I.
Well, Big Smile, I first of all wish you best of luck in your endeavors. And second off, I'm genuinely sorry again. I did all that stuff about, you know, threatening to kill you and everything. I was not in the right mindset.
No, no harm, no foul.
I think everyone
You're
here
a
is
stronger
threatened to
warrior
kill
than I
everyone.
will ever be.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're starting to apologize for murderous thoughts, we're gonna be here all day type of thing.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Is there anything that you guys want to do out of game in the 10 towns? Otherwise, I have more scenes.
Should we check in on that old lady who was like keeping care of all the kids?
Yes.
Nimsy Huddle.
Nimsy Huddle. She
Yeah.
is not doing so well, but she is still alive. She is a hearty woman, and has survived through much harsher things, but she is very devastated at the random disappearance of the children. And she fears they may have gotten, because they were always in trouble, getting into trouble. Like you guys saved them from like Quaggoth one time and stuff. Like they were always getting into trouble. She fears that maybe a Yeti or something is taking them. Do you guys tell her the truth?
Maybe not the whole truth,
Yeah, it's pretty dark for this.
but
old
the
lady to-
closure is probably better than not knowing.
Okay, so what do you tell her then? You can sum it up if you want.
Good lie.
That the only reason we live is because of their sacrifice.
She is very confused by that, but I think just the implications are clear enough, but also make her a little fearful of what has happened to them. But it does give a brief closure.
She still have that cauldron to like cook for all the people and stuff.
Yes, that is
Nice.
still in active use in the town hall. Yeah, we're still dealing with a refugee crisis. It's it's still pretty rough.
I think in that moment of like her grieving,
Mhm.
since it takes a while for some of that to grieve for such a deep loss like that. So if I was going to cook up some of the meal from that cauldron to help her, like just
Yeah, of course.
take a load off.
You're there for her.
Yes.
Of course. That sounds good to me. Anything else? This is your last chance to I'm gonna get here. I'll just tell you now. I'm gonna do one scene in the town hall where it's just me narrating basically. And then there's gonna be the final goodbyes in a tavern. I'm actually gonna do it in the Northlook. So there's final goodbyes. And then we're gonna go into end scenes. So like I said, this ain't a full session really. But right now, this is the last of the effects that you can have on the 10 towns before you basically leave it.
It's not a library, is there?
There is not. There's random bookstores, but no library.
I'm gonna go to a random bookstore.
Mhm.
I'm gonna leave a book with them. I was given to me a while back. I'm just gonna put it on a bookshelf.
Yes,
Just leave it behind.
no problem.
I don't need to carry that baggage anymore.
I understand.
Quintus also goes through Lynn's house
Yes.
and finds the book that he wrote and just stands in a field for like 4 hours with a torch staring at it before he puts the torch out in the dirt and picks it back up again.
Anything else?
Did you give them the smut book, Gabar?
No, I kept that for myself.
Sorry. I was
No,
just-
it's Scoop's book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And there was the Adventures of Elminster.
Yeah, the Illustrated Adventures of Elminster.
You said a book. You got a couple.
I knew what a
I
book
do
was.
have a lot of books.
That's
to be
true.
fair.
That's true.
What
Just
about
realized that
the
it's not a children's book.
what about the world record of what was it called? The Castle Ball or Lightning Ball?
Oh
What was
yeah,
the
did we take that?
sport that we pwned?
What do you
Chain
mean?
Lightning.
Chain
There was
Lightning.
there was the book of Chain
Oh,
Lightning.
maybe.
winners.
I don't remember.
Dude, we're planting that into the fucking archives.
I thought we just wrote Snowdrifters and like fucking left it there.
I don't know. You can say you took it if you want. I don't really care. Whatever's more narratively satisfying, to be honest with
Retcon, we took it and we implant it into
Perfect.
the new lore of 9 towns.
you. Yes, 9 towns. Perfect. Anything else? Ooh, it's starting to sink in, boys. All right. if we are done, if we're concluding our sort of discussions on politics and how you affect the 10 towns, we will come back into the game. And this is just going to be basically the rest of the today is going to be just me narrating, I guess. Well, we're going to have a scene in a bar, but like, is that cool with you guys? Okay. Like there is a lot of narration that I have for this, and I'm really sorry. Like I don't want to be a hog, but I got to kind of tie a knot in this story.
It's totally fair.
Okay. So we cut to you all finding yourselves seated in the grand town hall of Bryn Shander. In the front row of benches facing the raised dais in the back. The vast expanse of the hall stretching out behind you with its steeply pitched roof and rafters towering overhead. Rows of chairs and benches have been arranged, accommodating the multitude of townsfolk who have gathered here for this occasion. Surrounded on all sides by the remaining community of 10 towns. Many more citizens stand outside, peering in through the open double door. The remaining council of speakers sits on the front bench on the opposite side of the aisle from you. In the crowd are many familiar faces that you have met in your adventures here in Icewind Dale. Atop the raised dais stands Speaker Duvessa Shane, and I guess Speaker, since I wrote it as Sheriff Markham Southwall, but I guess he would be sitting with the other speakers, so it's just her by herself. Speaker Shane raises her hands, and the anxious murmur of the crowd hushes to a silence beside the occasional cough or shuffling of feet. People of 10 towns, esteemed members of the Council of Speakers and honored guests, we are gathered here today for the official inauguration of Sapphira Austin as our new Speaker of Tourmaline. There's a brief applause, which is silenced by Shane's raised hand. Before the ceremony, I would like to take this time to pay tribute to those who have gone above and beyond in the service of our towns and our people. Today, we celebrate the bravery, the sacrifice, and the unwavering dedication of the Snowdrifters. In our darkest hours, when hope seemed but a distant memory, and our very existence was threatened, it was you. And she looks over towards the group of you sitting in the front row. The Snowdrifters, who stood steadfast. You have helped those in need, lending your strength and courage to those who could not defend themselves. You single-handedly uncovered the insidious plans of the Durgar army, preparing our towns for the battles that lay ahead and ensuring our survival. You slew the formidable Chardalin dragon, who would have surely brought utter destruction to all of 10 towns. You've uprooted tyranny and corruption, bringing justice to those who sought to harm and manipulate our communities. And most miraculously, you have ended the Frostmaiden's curse, lifting the perpetual night and freeing our land from her icy grip. For these acts of heroism and courage, we are eternally grateful. Please rise, Sapphira Austin. Ross Ray Snow. She gives a knowing sort of wink to you. Quintus. Gabar Galen Umpip Gama Satara. But she says it really good because she practiced all day. She will say, Sonar of Moonbow. Ilican Storm Chaser Akhenathi. V. And Velen Harpel. Each of you have played a crucial role in our salvation. These names will be remembered and celebrated for generations to come. You are more than heroes. You are our saviors, our champions, and the legacy of your deeds will be honored forever in the annals of Ten Town's history. And after that, the hall erupts into applause. The sound of clapping hands and cheers echoing off the walls as people rise to their feet. The room is filled completely with a palpable sense of reverence and admiration for all of you. You who stood between the people of Icewind Dale and their annihilation. The applause lasts a long while before gradually subsiding. Speaker Shane raises a hand and continues with a smile. And now it is with great pride and joy that I move forward with the inauguration of our new Speaker of Tourmaline. And it fades to black. We fade up. The final scene of the party together. We are in the Northlook Inn. Old Bitey lifts off the wall and begins singing a jaunty tune. But otherwise, the place is relatively empty. All of you are seated around a table. Scramsax, carrying a bunch of drinks, sets them down onto the counter. Or onto the table. And this moment is the last time that some of you will see each other. Well, for now. As most of you are parting on there's going to be some sort of rescue caravan that's leaving or coming or something. So those of you that are headed south are probably booked to go on that, right? So maybe you had to wait even a couple more days just to get passage. Or whatever. I just want one final scene because I feel like Quintus is just ready to fucking go. So Quintus might go there, and I don't know. But I do want Quintus here for this. So Scramsax sets the drinks down on the table. And Asgabar reaches for one. He takes his dirk, his dagger, and slams it into the table. And he will say, "You may be hero of 10 towns, but you still owe me 2 gold from yesterday. You better pay up before you leave forever."
That is fair. I'm sure we can find something that we found in our adventures to pay off. And I'm just gonna like rummage through, and I'm gonna pull out this pendant.
Okay.
And it's silver, and it's got this blue backing, and it's got the symbol of Mistral on
Sure.
it, and it's worth 25 gold pieces.
Okay.
It's beautiful, and I'm like, this should pay off whatever I owe you from before too.
He skeptically scoops it into his hand, looks it over, wedges his dagger from out of the table, and nods to the group.
Fucking intense as ever.
Finally
Thank
got
you.
that tab paid off, eh? Good job, kid.
Only took me 3 years.
Oh, better late than never.
Of all the things that I'm gonna miss about this place, he is not one.
This place is basically empty. I can fucking hear you.
Oh, I didn't mean to be quiet.
Didn't mean to be quiet.
What are you gonna miss the most? Anything?
This, probably. Not much else
This-
to miss about this place.
People are okay.
Some of them.
The 10 tons will be alright after all.
especially with Saphira being the new speaker.
Here. I'm gonna slam my cup on the table a few times.
Congratulations.
Please, no. There's no need for that. I'm just thankful you were all here to come and have a drink with me one last time.
We'll come back and check on you, see how things are going here.
Do good things for sure.
I thank you for that. It's just, sad to see you all go, but I know you have great adventures in front of all of you. And I know you're all capable of doing great things. So, just go knowing that is all. I mean, it was have a wonderful time, is what I meant to say.
We're all chasing something, but I hope that perhaps in the future our paths may cross here and there. But even if they don't, it won't change the fact that this time has been, well, honestly, quite scary, but quite fulfilling, and I will never forget any of you, as long as I draw breath.
Well said.
Sky Tower will be happy to have you back there, Prince. Does that mean you're coming back to Luskin with the kid and I?
You all will have me. I still have a little adventure left in me. Don't really have anything of importance to handle.
Good feeling, isn't it?
Feels
Wow.
weird.
It's nice.
Think we can make a stop at the Duchess on the way out of here, Gabar, before we hit that caravan.
We can stop at the Duchess. Remind me how long it would take me as a giant owl
Uh,
to make it to the Duchess.
a day and a half, maybe.
Can we make it there before the caravan leaves, or are we gonna miss our ride?
We can say, there might be another
Or-
one going,
All
whatever.
right, either that, or we would have handled it in the days leading up until this moment.
Yeah, I
It's
think we
kinda-
haven't handled it yet. But there will be an opportunity for you to leave again, so it's okay if you don't catch this ride. But I imagine Quintus is catching this. And Illican's got to go back home.
Yeah, Elkin's gonna catch it.
Where's the caravan taking you, Quintus?
It's best you all don't know. I don't want to have to. There was a time this was all very meaningful to me, and I don't want to have to betray that in the future.
There's no way around that contract, eh?
There's one way that maybe.
Is it?
Don't worry about it.
You find whatever it is you're looking for out there, then. Maybe we can still all meet up at some point.
I hope so.
Evelyn, you're coming with us too, then?
What is the Duchess?
The Duchess?
Yeah,
You don't know of the Duchess?
I'm unfamiliar. I believe this has passed over my time with the group of you.
It's
The Duchess is a group of goblins, the meanest in the land.
the The Duchess is something that needs to be buried before I leave this place.
I will.
Just we'll wait for the next caravan. Big Smile and I will be back in 2-3 days times tops.
Like V so elegantly put it, I have nothing pressing. But between the two of us, she motions to Kabar, we have a lot of information. And I would betray you and myself if I ran away with it. So I'd hope that you and I could broach it together. Perhaps some of the things that we've learned in Yithrin and so on could be shared, but I would like to do it with help.
You really think I'd let you take all the credit?
I know, of course not.
Well, if you want to come to the Duchess with us,
I still have a little adventure in me, and she'll twirl around her fucking necrotic, fucking fucked up wand that she has.
well, we leave in the morning.
I'll be ready. But to the rest of you, if I don't see you again for some time, I couldn't have asked for a better company. I've read stories, of adventuring parties. Never thought myself to be part of one. And I know through our relationship has been tenuous. But I think we're all the more strong for it.
You weren't too bad either, Glenn.
She will try to be gracious about you saying that.
No, it's all love. I'll see you in the morning.
Of course. Thank you. All of you. I know I've said
Thank
it
you.
before, but
Thank
you've
you.
all, no. I couldn't have done any of this without you.
And I don't think us without you.
I am sincerely apologetic for turning you into a mouse one time.
Let's not discuss the past, she says with a a bit of bitterness in her voice.
There was a but in there. Thank you too. Suppose you truly did hold your own quite a few times.
The last counter spell at the end there was pretty clutch, I have to admit.
She cracks her fingers.
We'll write to you, Sapphira? You know the address.
Well, sorry. Could you repeat that?
Said we'll write to you, Sapphira.
Gotcha.
Know the address.
Thank you all. And hey, if you all end up coming over here again in the 10 towns, or in Lanes especially, just know that you have a place to stay. You are all Snowdrifters, after all. And I couldn't have done any of this without you.
Here, here.
Here, here.
Starting to feel it.
And she raises her glass with a smile, probably the first genuine smile she has smiled in a while.
Thanks, guys. All right. Is there anything else that you guys want to Any final goodbyes before we move into the last part?
If there is a time where everyone's leaving, or I imagine Quintus is probably hightailing it out of there,
Mhm.
I would like to try and grab his attention
Sure.
before he leaves.
Yes, of course. There, we get that scene for sure.
And I would just like to say, Quintus, you don't have to say anything. I know that everything is spiraling, probably. But I just want to say, I truly am sorry I wasn't able to return the favor.
Can we lift the insight check roll for this
Okay.
one time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
V, do you want to make the final dice roll of the whole fucking game?
Sure, yeah.
Do it.
hold on, let me set your DC first, because he
Okay.
says, I forgive you.
Do I have to roll persuasion?
No,
Insight.
you insight.
Oh, insight. Oh, shit. Fuck.
Can I
Alright, that's
give her
okay.
my
I can do it. I
inspiration?
can do it. No, I can do it. I can do it. Maybe.
Okay.
If I need it.
Do not burn an inspiration on this.
What?
That would be the most bullshit ever.
What else
This
am
is
I
the
going to use it
last-
on?
This is the last roll
use a
of the
luck point.
campaign.
Portent,
Yeah, exactly.
portent.
Hey, I can get
This
it.
is
I'm
the
not
la-
there. I can't see
No,
this.
This is
man.
the last roll
That's
of
fair.
the game,
That's
Nate.
fair. I can't see it. So
Oh, come on.
Did
Oh, I
someone
gotta
say
roll
a little
so good.
guidance? Little
Roll
guidance.
guidance.
Insight.
Come on. Last roll of
Come
the game.
on,
Let's get it.
insight. Come on.
Here we go.
20.
Oh.
Oh.
All right. So what did you say again, Quintus?
I
Do this-
forgive you.
That's good that she failed.
oh shit.
You believe the
Yeah.
genuineness of his voice.
All right. There's my closure.
Anything else? We will have our final scenes. Anything else as a group?
Just hugs all around.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Fond farewells. My heart is hurting, man. This is crazy. All right.
The real tears are on the way.
Oh boy. Okay. Is there anything else as a group? Because this is their last chance.
I don't think so.
All right.
Good over here.
As we fade out on the group, bidding each other farewell. I think I want to end on Sapphira raising the cups because surprisingly, Carl actually made me pretty emotional with that one. So I think we're gonna do the mugs in the air, pan out, and we see all the Snowdrifters, even the Shield Guardian sort of stuffed in the back corner. This fish talking on the wall next to him, and we fade black. Now we're gonna get our final scenes. So to discuss, right? Because I'm pretty sure most of these final scenes don't occur before you're like, what happens for the rest of your life? So if you discussed with me something that happens in your final scene, do not mention it in what we're about to talk about. Because text pops up on the screen and says all the stuff that you do in your life or whatever, right? Or what your next couple of moves are. And the last scene will paint the big picture. Okay? Does everybody follow? Because I'm kind of going in an artsy direction for this. Because it is the last time we're going to see these characters. So, we do begin with Big Smile. So, Big Smile, I know you have a lot to talk about, including Gabar and possibly including Valin, right? But we can sort of focus on Illican, or I'm sorry, Big Smile. We can sort of focus on Big Smile. You and Gabar both go towards the Duchess. Is that what I understand?
Yeah. Stop number
Yes.
one, the Duchess for sure.
I was tempted to actually play this out because we didn't have a lot of time. Like I wanted to, fill out the session, but I don't think that that'd be necessary. You both can camp out, like stake out the Duchess, and you will see that Arviatoris, this giant ancient fucking dragon, is living in the Duchess. The Dark Duchess, this half-crashed ship on the edge of the Sea of Moving Ice. However, upon investigation, you realize that this dragon is almost completely blind. So there is a chance that when she leaves to hunt or whatever, you can go ahead and take care of whatever you need to do on the Duchess. I'm kind of drawing both Gabar and Big Smile for this one. So both of you actually can talk to me about this. So what is your goals on this?
Get the bag. That's gonna pay off the bounty, so we can live
I
a
know.
life of
I
not
know where
being hunted. Yeah.
I know where the gold is.
Yes, you do. So you guys get on the ship, and you will see that whatever you knew was the gold in the cabin in the back of the ship where the captain's quarters, the doors have been ripped off with rended claws, and all of the hoard has been frozen into a pile of ice. However, you can take some time with some fire magic. If Valin's there, you know, the shield guardian. Remember how you guys dug in the ice that one time with
Yeah.
punching it? So they can help you uncover some of this treasure, more than enough to pay off your bounty. More than enough within the time that you have, and there's still some left. That's the goal? I mean, once you guys get enough, you feel like you've been here too long. It's time to get out. You guys leave, or what's the deal with what happens next? Because you said something about sinking it.
Oh yeah. When we're done and we're off that ship, sorry, I have no desire to appease a dragon for destroying their home.
Okay.
I cast whatever fireball level I
Sure,
need
yeah.
to blow this ship and send it to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, you use all but like 2 of the charges from the staff to cast this just fucking incredible fireball. And Valin doubles down and does one too, you know, and it just crumbles into ruin and sinks into the sea.
Send that thing to a watery grave.
Correct. So, I guess part of this is still Big Smile and Gabar until the last
It's
scene.
really
So-
all I wanted to do with the Duchess. So it can
Right. Okay, so we can move out of that, right? So what does Gabar and Big Smile do next?
Tail it to Luskin, I think. Go back home.
Is V joining us? Is she here on this
Yes,
part?
V,
Yeah.
V will be joining you, but she has probably her own things that she's gonna go do.
I just don't know if she came to the Duchess with us, but yeah, it's
Oh
fine. So
yeah,
after we're
sure.
done,
So V can fucking blast the hell out of it too with the fire.
because we all know how Gabar and Fire Magic
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
do
true,
well
true,
together.
true.
So I probably need her help.
Yeah.
But then we can
Thank
go back.
God B was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck.
12th level Fireball, 7 points of damage. Yeah, we'll head back to Brinchander then.
and then to Luskin afterwards. You think? Take a caravan through to Luskin. V, you're coming along. I mean, we
Yeah,
can get back.
yeah,
We
sure.
can get back to V
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
This is mostly Gabar and Big Smile
Yeah, yeah.
story. So, is there anything? So, you guys get back to Luskin. What does your lives look like? I guess I can focus on Big Smile.
Yeah, goes back and feeling good for the first time in a long time. Like pays off the bounty, cut
Yep,
like
done.
as much a hand wipe as possible.
Yeah, done.
And starts in like the lowest level, like backyard shitty, like boxing rings that are just like crates pushed together,
Sure.
and like slowly working himself back up from like ground zero.
Yeah. So I will say, you have noticed in your time with the Shield Guardian that the amulet basically does nothing, and that he has a mind of his own, and he will be your sparring partner.
Yeah.
He helps you train because he's a fucking robot. So.
Dude, that's the best sparring, but he just like never gets tired. He's like, come on, one more round.
If you
like, in
want,
perpetuity.
you can also have him be a boxer.
Yeah.
If you want, if you think that would be cool, then the
Yeah.
Shield Guardian could also start boxing alongside you.
I would love that. That would be
Yeah?
hilarious.
Okay, so do you have some crazy cool name for the Shield Guardian as a boxer, or
I mean, Shieldsy is a pretty
Shieldsy is good.
great nickname. You
Of
can't.
course. All right. So he begins in from ground zero boxing, and he's like incredible. You know what I mean? Okay. Cool. So that's Big Smile. Is there anything else you want to say about him?
Just like frequents the bars a lot, hangs out with Gabar and V as much as he can. Just like a healthy social life, like in a actual good place.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Now we will shift our focus over to Gabar. You're in Luskin. You paid off your bounty.
Paid off the bounty. That happy ending that Big Smile just spoke of, Gabar probably isn't in it for too long, as he has other things to attend to.
Oh, you know what? We can do your scene first and then talk about what you do with your life. That's actually a good idea because everybody else's is after. We can do yours after if you want.
Mine?
Like I'll do your scene.
okay. Yeah,
and
that's
then
fine.
you talk about it because
That's fine.
that makes sense in my mind better.
All right, go for it.
Okay,
Keep
cool.
going.
Yes. So then I will shift my attention to some of the stuff that Illican is doing. So we're shifting over to Illican. So Illican, text comes up on the screen about your life. What do you do? Like, other than what your final scene is.
Oh yeah, so hold on, I have a description here actually. So, should take only a second to find. Yeah. So yeah, Illican goes back the Sky Tower shelter. He takes stock of all the Goliaths left there, and he whips them up into shape. I mean, they were nothing to scoff at before, but he he turns an army into him, and he goes over with his force to the Thunlakalaga, and rather than launching a nice little brawl like usual, he proposes a peace with them. And I imagine there's much convincing to be had, and maybe even a few scuffles here and there. But
I want to say that I believe so. The people of Thunlakalaga have a game that they play that's called Goat Ball, and we never got there, so we never got to play it. But in the terms of the game, there are stumps evenly spaced around a field, and it's basically like dodgeball, where they have a ball made of goat skin, got like rock in it. And the point of the game is to throw the ball at the opponent and knock them off of the stump. You understand by talking to the Thunlakalagas that the intense hatred between your two clans started with a game of goat ball. There was some accusatory of a griffin acting out of line and hurting someone, or it's all sort of legend at this point. But they decide to settle it in a game of goat ball. Does that sound reasonable?
oh, I love that.
Okay, because instantly when you said that, that's what I just thought of just now. And that seems like something Goliath would do. Instead of a fight, negotiations are not on the table. There's no such thing as negotiation with a Goliath. It's trial.
Yeah,
And-
I was thinking there would be like some kind of, like I said, scuffle or fight.
Sure.
But this is even better.
This is all cards on the table.
Yeah.
And I imagine Illican comes out triumphant.
He
And-
figures it out somehow.
Yes. And you can forge a treaty between the two clans.
Okay. So then after that, I just kind of want to have this type of cinematic scene that you like to do, Jay, where you see Illican and he's not in battle. He's back at Sky Tower Shelter. And he's at basically like it looks like a construction site, but it is the site of the artwork being done on the next level of the tower. And and you see him like, he's got like some like schematic in his hand or whatever, and he's looking over the illustrations that the artists have drafted, and he's like telling them to make these changes and that changes. And basically before him, you see it's not quite complete, but you see an ornate depiction of a Goliath boy whose like spirit is rising up to the heavens, to like the very top of the tower, and the spirit kind of like, I don't know, goes out like a flower almost into this like vast piece of art, like a grand work. Like it puts everything else on the wall to shame. And it's like the whole story of the Snowdrifters and Oral, and how Oral was stopped. The sun has dawned and the tribes are united.
That's fucking awesome, man. Oh, that is so good. Is that the last thing you
And
want
that,
to do before
yeah,
your final scene?
I think there's going to be a wide shot of that artwork, and then it kind of fades out there.
Okay. Sapphira. I know, other than the final scene, what kind of accomplishments do you do in your life other than the thing that we talked about? What other things do you do?
So Sapphira has just become the leader of Tourmaline, which at that point has kind of just been like a whole lot of work kind of piled on her at once. But she's able to kind of like sort it out just a little bit at a time, as she's able to essentially help clean up and rebuild the 10 towns. She makes sure to spend like time with Nimsy Huddle back in East Haven, like helping to console her first, but also helping prepare food for like any other refugees that come like into East Haven. She helps kind of like broker peace, or not really broker peace, but actually, she helps kind of broker peace with the Goliath tribes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I will
working
get to
along
that.
with Illican to kind of like establish better relations.
Yep, I will get to that.
As well as kind of like helping work on better labor relations with the kobolds and the mines, settling kind of like nicer, work relations over there. After some months kind of settle as well, she reaches out to her former, I guess,
Mentor.
employer, not really employer, but like mentor, the
Yeah.
Bucket.
Yes. And I think after you reach out to him, you will be reunited with Nolan Greaves, the Bucket, who is your sheriff of Tourmaline. He has officially resigned from the order to serve you.
As has Sapphira, actually.
So you resign from your order as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I think aside from the final scene, that's about it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Quintus. V.
Yes. So V went with Big Smile and Gabar. She really wants to live a fulfilling life, so she would try to enjoy as much of Big Smile's happy ending as she could.
Mhm.
Staying with him, doing, watching him train, maybe going to a couple of his fights,
Yeah.
but like she really deep down longs for like more adventure, and she would eventually have set out and traveled, the lands near and far, going to like, ancient forests and ruins and bustling cities, and just seeing the world. And maybe even finding like love, and friendships and things like that. But as the years pass and they turn into decades, and she fulfills her life's wishes, she may eventually settle down in a house on a hill in a meadow, and just live out her days as best she could, but still knowing that the threat of this elder brain looms over her, and she knows that she will never truly be at peace.
All right. So I'm going to start with Big Smile. I'm going to start with Gabar. I'm going to go to Gabar after that, and then Gabar, I need you to tell me about more after that, just to get the order down. So we begin our final scene. Scenes is plural. We fade to black and we fade back up. The air is thick with the scent of sweat and blood in the dimly lit boxing ring. The shouts and jeers of the spectators create a cacophony of noise echoing off the walls of the gritty underground venue. In the center of the ring, Big Smile stands tall, chest heaving, face swollen from the brutal match. Opposing him, a large bugbear looms, equally battered, with a determined snarl on his face. Big Smile, both you and Gurr the bugbear are severely damaged. Bruises and cuts mar your skin, blood trickles from fresh wounds, and your movements are slow and labored. But the crowd's energy pulses around you, their chants and roars merging into a single throbbing heartbeat. In a sudden burst of movement, Gurr the bugbear charges forward, and with a guttural roar, it raises both of his massive hands above his head. You brace yourself, but the bugbear brings its fists down into a crushing two-handed slam. The blow lands squarely on your head, the force dropping you to the ground immediately. The world blurs and darkens as you drop, the roar of the crowd fading into a distant echo until everything goes black. But then, from the depths of unconsciousness, a spark ignites. Slowly, awareness seeps back into your mind. Sounds sharpen. The counting of the referee grows louder, and you feel the rough canvas of the ring beneath you. What do you do?
Yeah, perfect. Oh my god, that's so descriptive. That was so good. So yeah, the like, you know, like a war movie where a grenade goes off and it's just like the like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tinnitus that like starts to like fade away, and yeah, you hear the counts like come
Yeah.
up, and it's just Big Smile like looking like up at the lights, and he's like blinking back into consciousness, and as he like gets his like auditory senses more, he can hear the crowd being like Big Smile Snow, Big Smile Snow, and they're kind of like willing him up, and the other bugbears kind of like chirping. I'm like, don't call it a bloody comeback yet, type of thing. And like as he like finally gains consciousness, you just see like a big smile like curve up on his face. Like this moment is what he's wanted, and he starts to like get off the canvas, and then I imagine like the camera wipes away.
Okay.
And
It fades to black.
whether he gets up or not, whether he wins the fight is maybe up for interpretation, but he's where he wants to be, and I don't know if there's any other artistic flourishes you want to put on the end of that.
No, that's
That's
good
kind of
for
where
me.
I saw his story ending very fittingly.
We fade to black on Big Smile. Goodbye, Big Smile. All right. We move on. In the same to Gabar. In the same crowded venue that we were just in, Gabar sits intently watching the fight. In the seat beside him, Sonar hovers silently, his staff leaned against him. As Big Smile staggers after getting hit earlier in the fight, the crowd roars. And Gabar, you feel a gently shaking, yet firm hand grasp your shoulder. What do you do?
I look at who's touching me.
It's Valen. She's leaning down towards you. It's time. The carriage is outside.
Sorry. I already know how this one ends. You ready, Sonar?
Hast thou commands, Eldir?
I don't command this time, but simply ask.
He gives you a knowing nod.
Let's go.
Sure.
And as I'll stand up and I'll follow Vlin. And as I get to the last step up the rafters leading to the door and the exit, I'll look back one last time and just knowingly nod and yeah, he can take them. And I'll walk out the door.
You and Vlin step outside into the cold rain of Luskan. The night is dark, and the relentless rain has transformed the street into a muddy quagmire. A black carriage awaits, already loaded with your luggage and belongings. You know that this wagon will take you to Neverwinter, where you will join a caravan headed to Boulder's Gate. From there, it has been arranged for you to get horses that you can take further south to Candlekeep. That was the plan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Take this knowledge far away from the Brotherhood.
Absolutely.
Into somewhere where it can be used better.
Once inside the carriage, the door shuts with a heavy thud. The driver, a shadowy figure, cracks his whip, and the carriage lurches forward. Rain pours down the hood of the driver's drenched coats, obscuring his features. As he lifts his head, the dim lantern light reveals a grotesque, undead visage, his eyes glowing faintly with malevolence. He mutters under his breath, "Filthy fucking gnome." And we fade to black. Now, what would you like to do from there?
Me?
Yes, you go to Candlekeep. Is there any other accomplishments that you do with your life?
I don't know.
It's
Whether
a
or not he ever
mystery?
makes it to
Oh,
Candlekeep
Candlekeep? Okay,
with
I love
Marlin
that. No,
as
that's
his
great.
driver.
Yes, that's great. No. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll leave it there. That's it. We'll do the same with Quintus, where that sort of tells your story. No, I love that. Okay. Well, that being the case, goodbye, Gabar.
Been a pleasure, everyone.
And let us all take a moment to say goodbye to Sonar.
And Sonar.
Goodbye, Sonar. Ah! Never again will the body heal and the soul endure. Okay. Now, we fade out on Gabar. Goodbye, Gabar. That was it. And we fade in on Illican. The rest of the stories from here are much longer, so I'm sorry. We fade in on Illican. Illican stands tall in a dimly lit stone room. Sunlight filters in from its high windows, and beams of light illuminate him like a natural spotlight. He stands before a sturdy oak table in the center of the Council of Speakers chamber, seated around which are the speakers of the 10 towns. On either side of Illican are Sapphira and Nora Riverjumper, his cousin, both looking towards Illican in solidarity. Surrounding the chamber are other rugged Goliath warriors, their towering forms and war-hardened features a stark contrast to the refined setting. And it appears as though Illican is just finishing his speech.
Okay, here we go. So the sound will kind of fade in with him saying something like this. To build a better future for both Goliaths and the 10 towns. No, for all life in Icewind Dale. This land is cold and harsh, but those that inhabit it are warm and resilient. Our tireless struggle to survive will never end, but together we may struggle less. Together we may stand shoulder to shoulder against those who would tear us apart, end our way of life, or defile our sanctuaries. Separated, each town was picked off by the Dragon of Chardolan. Goliath fought Goliath tirelessly, paying no mind to the true potential of their strength. The Frostmaiden herself tested all of us, and the Snowdrifters rose to show her what those that inhabit this land will do to have a chance at life. Let us not have that struggle be in vain. Icewind Dale's long night has ended, and the dawn has come. Let us face it together. And he raises his arms.
Fuck yeah. As Illican concludes his speech, the speakers begin to applaud, their faces reflecting their admiration and gratitude. The surrounding Goliaths, though initially hesitant, join with hearty claps and cheers. Their sort of ruggedness contrasts the stoicness of the place. Speaker Duvessa Shane raises from her seat, her expression one of respect, and she steps forward and extends her hand towards Illican. Their hands clasp into a firm handshake, a symbol of a newfound unity between the tribal Goliaths and the people of 10 towns, a unity that Illican has helped build. We cut away from that. We cut back in to a few 10 days later. A group of Goliaths lumber through the streets of Bryn Shander, their presence drawing fear and suspicion from the townsfolk. They drag a sled laden with lumber, supplies, and food under a cloth tarp. The townspeople eye them wearily, whispering amongst themselves. Suddenly, a child steps forward, her eyes wide with wonder. She approaches the Goliaths, clutching a wilted flower in her hand. One of the sturdy, battle-scarred Goliaths kneels down and gently takes the flower from her. A genuine smile softens his fierce features. And with a swift, playful motion, he scoops the girl up and sets her on his broad shoulder. Her cries of joy echo through the streets, breaking the tension. Other children, seeing the scene, begin to surround the Goliaths with playful excitement. The Goliaths, despite their formidable appearances, engage with the children, lifting them, laughing, and joining in their little games. Gradually, a few of the townspeople approach, disarmed by the scene. Conversations start, tentative at first, but soon growing more animated as they trade goods between each other. We have a quick montage after that of Goliaths helping 10 towners drag their big boats into the lake. We see a group of Goliaths helping stand a heavy timber for reconstruction. There are Goliaths trading supplies with 10 towners. There are other groups of Goliaths training militiamen in combat techniques. It seems that the Goliaths, once outsiders, forge new bonds with the people of 10 towns, their actions speaking far louder than their words ever could. We get the final scene of Illican. No, we just get the final scene. We cut away from that. And we see 2 merchant dog sleds racing down the tundra road across the snowy landscape. Suddenly, and with a thunderous roar, an abominable yeti emerges from the snow, its massive form dwarfing the sleds, and it lunges forward savagely. The merchants are thrown from their sleds, tumbling helplessly into the snow. Fear grips them as they scramble backwards, the ferocious beast looming over them. But just as all hope seems lost, a blur of motion crashes into the yeti. The creature staggers, caught off balance by surprise. The figure who pummeled the yeti skids through the snow and rights itself. Illican, in his werebear form, stands in defiance between the yeti and its prey. Behind him, 4 Goliath warriors step forward, their weapons drawn, ready to confront the threat. And with a guttural growl, the yeti stands, its eyes narrowing with primal fury. But against the united front of Illican and his united allies, it knows that the battle ahead will be one of an unmatched ferocity, and determination. We fade to black on Illican. Goodbye, Illican. Okay. Sapphires is the longest. I'm really sorry, guys. So, I'll try to make it quick. Sapphira. We see a scene. An Axebeak and its rider make their way across the snowy tundra as the dusk light casts long shadows upon the trailing footprints in the snow. They are headed toward a steep, rocky outcropping in the distance where campfires faintly twinkle atop it. As the rider approaches, movement stirs among nearby rocks, and emerging from behind the boulders, 3 Reged warriors step forward. Their figures cloaked and hooded, faces concealed by masks. The warriors take firm stance and point their long pikes at her, but the rider comes to a halt. And Sapphira draws an ancient primitive spear from her side. The weapon begins to glow, casting a multicolored aura like that of the Northern Lights. She raises both hands in a gesture of peace and removes her fur-lined hood, revealing her crystalline hair that shimmers with the same light. Sapphira speaks to the Regeds in their native tongue, and we don't get the subtitles. Her voice calm and respectful. The warriors, though cautious, lower their pikes, reassured by Sapphira's words. After a brief exchange, the warriors signal for her to follow them into the camp. Cut again to Sapphira kneeling in the heart of the Sadiq tribe camp, surrounded by the remaining tribespeople. Their numbers are noticeably fewer than the last time she saw them. She is bowed before Dalim Fazian Hasnawe, who bears a recently healed gruesome scar running across his face and neck. The Jihad Kala driven firmly into the snow with Sapphira leaning her head against it. He places a hand on her shoulder and helps her to her feet. The Dalim speaks to her in Bothi, the native language of the Reged, his voice loud and clear so the entire tribe can hear. When he finishes, he shouts one final phrase and strikes a fist against his chest. The tribe echoes the phrase and the gesture in unison. We cut again. We get a montage. Sapphira traveling with the Reghead for about a 10-day. I think one of my favorite ones of the montage is the sun barely cresting over the horizon. And we just see the single file line of Reghead marching against the sunrise. And then we sort of close in a little bit of the silhouette of Sapphira wrapped in her furs, walking among them. We also get scenes of the tribe navigating and climbing slopes. At one point, a Reghead elder loses his footing while climbing a steep rock, and Sapphira grabs his hand and pulls the elder up towards her. Sapphira struggles to maintain pace with them, but refuses to fall behind. We get another scene of her, like during the night, she's sitting on a rock, drinking from a bowl of soup as the Regeds tell their tales, and she watches carefully. Until they finally arrive at a rocky hillside with pines growing around its base. Half submerged in the snow are the weathered bones, skull, and long tusks of a long dead mammoth. Beyond these remains lie a yawning cave mouth. Cut one last time. There are pictographs on the wall that appear, they're illuminated by the torchlight, and they appear familiar to us. They depict ancient Reged people battling terrible monsters to claim their land. In the center of the chamber is a rectangular stone sarcophagus. Dominating the wall behind the sarcophagus is the image of a massive Remoraz. Its presence looms over many tribespeople bowing. Standing defiantly before the creature is a mighty female chieftain, wielding a spear, dancing lights emanating from it. Sapphira stands alone before the sarcophagus. She draws from her bag the Jihad Kala, and with care, places it into the open stone sarcophagus. Suddenly, with a burst, the chamber is filled with multicolored strands of the aurora that dance around the room. The colors swirl and twist. They slowly converge into a muscular, reghead woman's form. Her form shifting in the hues of the aurora. As Delima Amaya Saphia, her spirit stands before Sapphira. Her voice echoes, but it's soft. My child, you have honored my legacy and proven your worth by cleansing my soul. As a parting gift, I grant you a symbol of our eternal bond and your unwavering spirit. May the light of the north guide you and bless you with the wisdom of our elders to lead your people. As the words fade, she begins to dissolve into strands of aurora, and they swirl around Sapphira. The light intensifies, wrapping her in a cocoon of brilliant light. They transform her eyes into orbs of the aurora's ethereal light. Her crystalline hair begins to shimmer and glow with the same shifting hues. We see Sapphira stepping out of the cave into the cold tundra, and the Reged tribespeople gathering outside watch in awe. Her hair and eyes now permanently aglow with the aurora's magic. As she stands before them, the people bow in reverence, their faces filled with respect and admiration. Goodbye, Sapphira. Okay, we got two more. I know it's taking a long time, but these are the best ones. Now, I had a struggle with deciding who was going to go penultimate and last, but I want to read you guys what I wrote for Quintus next. And it's fucking good. And I really worked hard, so I'm going to read it word for word. I hope that that's okay.
Quintus's,
Yes.
can I ask a quick question?
Yes, of course.
Gio, did you write that little monologue, or Jay, did you do that?
No, Gio wrote that.
The monologue I wrote, yeah.
That was sick. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that I was reading like word for word. Like I tried to like look up so it wouldn't look like I was staring the whole time, but I was like, screw it, I'm gonna mess it up.
Yeah,
We're just
that's
gonna
no
look for word.
problem. I did, like, Quintus isn't going to talk in this one. I'm just going to fucking read it. But we are both on the same page as far as it's concerned. So, okay.
Let's hear it.
It's really good. I really like it. The scorching sun beats down on the heavily crowded streets of the distant city of Athkatla. Dust and sand swirl through the air, coating the stalls and the people who throng the market. Merchants shout their wares, children dart through the alleys, and the scent of exotic spices mingles with the dry, hot wind. In the midst of this chaos, a tattered and dusty black-cloaked figure makes his way through the slum, moving with cautious purpose. The figure wears a traditional black Omnian face mask and headscarf, concealing his features. His eyes cautiously scan the crowd, and his gaze locks onto a small clay building, unremarkable save for the simple signpost above its drape-covered door, bearing the image of a large ram's skull. The figure makes his way through the crowd toward the building, then pauses momentarily. He removes his face mask as he glances over his shoulder to ensure he wasn't followed. We see Quintus. His face is weather-beaten and etched with the lines of many, many hard journeys. Satisfied that he is alone, he draws aside the drape and steps inside. Inside is a shop filled with shadowed curiosities, shelves lined with twisted trinkets and ancient books bound in cracked leather. From the rafters hang small, dried animals and clusters of bones. A handsome man with rich brown skin and a neatly trimmed long mustache stands behind the counter, his eyes sharp and calculating beneath a scarlet turban. As Quintus enters, he watches him intently, a smile spreading across his lips. Quintus and the man exchange hushed words for a few moments. With a casual motion, Quintus places 3 large red-tinted iron coins onto the counter, each minted with an ominous sigil. The man extends his hand to take them, revealing hands that are unnaturally reversed, with thumbs facing outwards. His fingers close around the coins, and he gives a knowing nod, his smile never faltering. We cut away from this scene, and we cut to some significant time before that. Quintus, looking less weathered and weary, moves through a shadowy library deep within Candlekeep. He carries a small lantern, its dim light barely illuminating the surrounding gloom as he peruses the shelves. Dark tomes wrapped in chains line the shelves, their spines etched in blasphemous runes and symbols. Cut again. And this kind of breaks our meta a little bit. I'm going to still go with it because it tells what Quintus is like. So maybe this is alternate reality. Whatever. Just go with me here. Quintus leaving the gates of Candlekeep in the back of a covered wagon. His gaze falls upon a caravan of supplies trying to enter. Attempting to gain access to the fortress are 3 figures familiar to Quintus. Sorry, Gabar, but it's Gabar and Sonar and Valin.
Oh, that's fine. I'm cool with it.
Though they do not notice him. Quintus's eyes linger on them for a moment before he pulls up his hood, concealing his features from view. We cut away. And we cut to Quintus standing in a dim, damp stone cellar, his face more worn than in Candlekeep. A powerful binding circle etched into the floor. Slightly glowing arcane sigils cast long shadows against the wall, and inside the circle looms an arcanoloth with gold spectacles perched on the tip of his snout. A slight grin grows over Quintus's face as he meets this creature's fearful gaze. Cut again. We're at a shadowy market. Under a sky of perpetually swirling clouds, flakes of ash drip through the air, settling like grim snowflakes. Undead thralls shuffle through the streets, driven forward by harsh commands. Slave masters prod their prisoners with iron-tipped staffs, the chained captive stumbling past. We see Quintus standing before a red-robed figure with jagged black tattoos covering his pale, bald head. On the table between them is a small pile of vile relics and jars filled with unknown substances. We cut one final time. Well, sort of. We're back at the shop in Athkatla. The grinning man gestures with his fucked up hands towards a beaded draped doorway in the back of the shop. The beads clink softly as Quintus pushes through, revealing sandstone steps that descend below. Cut, this is the final time, to a large cellar, illuminated by the flickering light of green flamed torches. Its walls are adorned with the macabre symbols and dripping with the stench of death. Black-robed figures kneel in reverence around a bloody altar, fashioned from human skulls. Atop the altar rests a rigid human spine, crowned by a large bloody ram skull. Quintus's silhouette fills the doorway, his back to the camera as he enters the chamber. A lone figure approaching with a purpose known only to him. Goodbye, Quintus.
What does that mean?
Uh-oh.
Yep. All right. I was very proud of what I wrote for Quintus. I worked really hard on it. I was very, very proud of it.
That
As
was
you
like a
should be.
movie.
Yeah, it
That was
really,
good.
really
That was
paints a
good.
narrative scene as to what Quintus is up to
Oh,
without
my God.
saying anything. All right, so goodbye, Quintus. Maybe not forever,
Holy
but
shit.
goodbye, Quintus.
Bye for now.
All right, so this is the final scene. And it's V. Many good years have gone by. Yet, for the past few weeks, a persistent headache has haunted your every moment. He is coming. With resolve, you embark on the journey you have long prepared yourself for, a pilgrimage northward. And we get a short montage of V in the back of covered wagons, riding a horse down a long, well-traveled road, talking to people to secure passage, and looking up at a high, snowy mountain range. We cut. And we see V wrapped tightly in a familiar old mink coat against the biting chill. V, you ascend the heights of a mountain peak high in the spine of the world. You stand with resolve and weariness, and you feel that you have reached your destination. The freezing cold is relentless, the wind biting through every layer of clothing. The air so cold it hurts to breathe. And the darkness of night surrounds you. And from your vantage point, you can faintly see the vast expanse of Icewind Dale below you. Its rolling tundra expanding out in all directions. Your gaze is drawn up at the sky, the blackness of it punctuated by countless twinkling stars, the infinity of the cosmos stretched out. Despite the throbbing headache and the feeling of your body beginning to succumb to the deadly chill, your resolve remains unyielding, a defiant spark within you. As you're looking up at the sky, you do anything?
She will close her eyes and says to herself, I thank you all so much for giving me a life worth living. And she'll look back up at the sky and she'll say out loud, I will not let them take it from me.
We cut away from V, and we cut to Big Smile. One day, you receive a mysterious letter with no indications of where it's from, besides a single letter on the envelope. V. And I would like for you, Big Smile, to...
Jay, I
What?
would say you could still send out the handout, but I think if Big Smile can, or Chris can still read it if he wants, but if he wants me to read it, I would also be willing to.
Which would you prefer? I really wanted Big Smile to read it.
Okay. Well, whichever one Chris would like.
Chris, would you like to read the letter out loud to the group?
Sure, because this will be a candid reaction. I didn't know this was coming.
All right. I think I'll just send it to him for now.
Okay.
Should be, let's see, Big Smile. Big Smile. All right. It should
It's
just
a little,
be...
it's a little long, but
don't know.
get
Please read it. Please read it.
yeah, take your time.
It should be at the top of your list. It's just a letter V. Yeah, you have it. It's in your journal. No, it should be just like at the top of your journal. You see it?
No.
That's okay. I will try to put it in characters. Kaboom. Go to where you get your characters.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
Please read it for the group. I haven't read it either.
Okay. My dearest friends, I hope this letter finds you well. For what will be written here has haunted me my entire life. When I sit here in the flickering candlelight, pen in hand, parchment before me, I'm still hesitant to write these words. Though I can't leave this world without admitting my truth, my full truth. You see, I was born in an illithid city in the Underdark, deep below the surface of the world, Or maybe I was captured as an infant. The memories from my youth are foggy and dark, so I'm not quite certain. I was a slave to a mind flayer colony, a thrall, unable to control my own body or my own mind. An empty shell. At the time, I thought I was living my true purpose, fully desiring only to please my masters. I was in a group of others like me, doppelgangers, shape changers, monsters, whatever other words humans use for creatures like us. For years, I used to live like this in the Underdark, sleeping in small, dark chambers, given the privilege to sleep at all, eating whatever scraps were left over from my masters. Eating whatever scraps were left over after my masters tore out the brains for their dinner. They never ate any of us, however. We were special among the other thralls. They didn't make us fight in the gladiatory arenas or mine in the cave pits. Instead, the group I was with, taught about the world above. Together, we were sent out to infiltrate surface cities. On one mission, I was given leadership of a group, and as such, was gifted psionic powers by a mind flayer larva. It crawled in behind my eye and burrowed itself deep inside my brain. I was more connected to them now than I ever was. We were sent to Neverwinter to acquire a group of humanoids with the intent of leading them on a quote unquote expedition in order to have them ambushed and captured by our masters. To have influence over this plan, I assumed the identity of a wealthy merchant's daughter. After spying on her for some time, capturing her, reading her mind for days, learning about her, and eventually killing her and taking her life, I became her entirely. Everything was going to plan until one night, a feeling to obey consumed me. I wandered outside of the city, following this telepathic message like an instinct. I came across a clearing, and that's where I saw it above me, floating in the night sky, the Mind Flayer ship. But as it turns out, they weren't my masters. They weren't even of this world. Everything after that is blank. Next thing I know, I heard some kind of explosion and was falling out of the sky. The snow barely broke my fall. My head was pounding, my face was bleeding, my body ached, and something else felt very different. For the first time in my life, I could hear my own thoughts. It was Quintus who saved me after I wandered into town. You know that story. Though as grateful as I am to him, I still thought I was alone in this world. I soon realized that wasn't the case. It was all of you that made that quite clear to me. Quintus gave me the confidence to live a normal life regardless of my past. Sapphira taught me how to stay true to my faith and what I believed in. Kabar showed me how to think for myself, yet still trust others. Illican gave me an example of what it means to have family and that you must protect them no matter the cost. And you were more than just my companion, Big Smile. You were a beacon of hope on cold nights, a source of laughter and joy during the perils of our quest. Your bravery inspired me. Your wisdom guided me, and your big smile lifted us through the darkest of hours. Oh. You all showed me what it meant to be human. You laugh, you love, you live, and you cry. And yet, I cannot help but wipe away these tears from my face as I bid you farewell again. For as I set forth on this next journey and begin the final chapter of my story's life, I fear that this may be the last that you ever hear of me. Although we may never again stand side by side in battle, your fighting spirit will be with me in my final moments, a silent guardian and a steadfast companion forever in my heart. I will never be alone again. And I thank you for that. With love, V.
So we cut back to V. And as the cold wind whips through the desolate spine of the world mountains, a solemn figure sits motionless amidst the pristine snow. V's body, now frozen and preserved forever in her humanoid form, rests in a final moment of defiance, hugging her knees, Her face turned Her face turned towards the tundra. Tough one. Her face turned towards the tundra of Icewind Dale below. Her eyes wide open. The icy wind howls across the mountain peak, but even its fierce determination pales in comparison to that of the doppelganger who once called themselves V. Goodbye, V. Goodbye, Snowdrifters.
Hasta la vista.
That was beautiful.
Wow, what a great
Sit
ending.
on that one for a while.
Yeah. Fuck. Thank you so much, Jay.
Thank you,
So,
Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, guys.
That was
Wow.
a beautiful
Man.
campaign.
That was really cool.
Dude.
That was really cool, guys.
Oh man.
I knew we should have moonbeamed V.
You know how many times
We talked about that. Me and Jay talked about that.
Oh, really?
all of this shit that he just said, I knew that from the start.
From
This,
day one,
Really?
this is what I sent
came
him the
up with
very
this.
first session. Yeah, I
That's
sent him this exact thing.
amazing. So every time some idiot would cast Moonbeam and Big Smile would joke, does he turn because he's a shapeshifter? Was V the
He
whole
was
time
like,
There was
Oh,
one
in Ravison. Ravison
So
in
much.
the Ravison in the tomb, Elven tomb. She cast a moonbeam and V was like right on the outside of it.
Oh.
I think
I
Jay
didn't
sent
even-
me a screenshot of my face, and I was like,
Oh yeah, I took I did. I took a screenshot in that moment. It was like V was freaking out. Nate was freaking out. Yeah, V was
That's
a
amazing.
fucking doppelganger the entire time, guys.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
The
Damn.
entire campaign, since the beginning.
Yeah, I knew something was up in session 9 when you didn't have Fey ancestry against those
Mhm,
Harpies
mhm,
charm.
mhm, mhm.
I thought something was even up when she was like eating all the time. She was like eating for two. I thought
Yeah,
that was
because
maybe
she's
like
a fucking
metaphor or something.
doppelganger.
Yeah.
Didn't
She's
I
a
call
monster.
that a few sessions ago
Yeah,
at
oh,
the
yeah.
end of one of the
Mhm.
sessions? I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, something's up with the V. She's probably a doppelganger or
Yep,
something.
Yep, for sure. She
Ugh.
was the whole
Damn you.
time.
kept it a
But
secret.
in defiance, she sort of froze herself solid, overlooking Icewind Dale, to never transform back.
So V was really V's name, and it wasn't short for anything else the whole time.
No, that's not true.
Well, what's V stand for?
Where did you get V from?
Well, maybe that could be a question for next session.
Ah, there you go.
Eh.
Yep, there we go. All right. Well, that was the campaign, boys.
Damn.
God.
Got to retire that Zoom background.
Yep, I got another one
Yeah.
already made up.
Crazy.
I got one with red fiery one.
Fuck, that was fun, but that was sad.
Yeah, it was sad. Nate's
Feels-
letter really teared me up pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I was trying to read it and I was like trying to like come to terms with it at the same time. It's
You're
fucking
like,
hard.
Yeah, so goodbye, Snowdrifters.
Some of us had really good endings and some of us had really sad and tragic endings.
Yep.
As is Rime of the Frostmaiden.
Yeah, it was definitely the theme.
Yeah.
You know, it was like horror and suffering, and not everybody gets a happy ending.
Love me a tragic ending.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Very fitting. Damn.
Yep. So
What's going on? Quintus
we'll
is ending.
never listen to this playlist again.
Yeah.
When you log out of this game, you don't have to ever log back in again. We'll just hang out in next session.
We're doing like reverse session 0 next session.
Yeah, so we can talk about that real quick. So I like things to be structured because I don't know, I'm a fucking control freak. So I have like some things I wanted to like do with you guys. There's gonna be like basically I found this thing online and I sort of subverted it, and it's an achievement list like you guys like a video game achievement. So you got 41. Well, you got 40 achievements. One of them I just wanted to mention. But you got 40 achievements. I'll read them all so that it sort of reminds you of all the stuff that you've done over the course of the
Wait.
game.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's 40 achievements, and then I there's an award ceremony. And yeah, but also I have a lot of stuff I want you guys to vote on. Like there's awards that everybody's gonna vote on. Like
Oh, cool.
for example, nobody talk about it until we play it. But like for example, Meme Lord, like who had the best memes of the campaign. We're gonna vote who's the heart of the party. We're all gonna vote. So
Oh,
there's some that we're
brilliant.
gonna vote for. Yeah, there's some we're gonna vote for, and then there's others that
Yeah.
I have specifically chosen for you.
This is like the Dundies in the office.
It is. I literally called it award ceremony / Dundies.
Oh, that's so fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and then after that we can have Q&A. So it could be Q&A to me, Q&A to the other players, whatever you guys want to know. So I would think over the next week, think about some of the questions that you had about the campaign, like, what was supposed to happen with this, and stuff like that.
Who the fuck is Anga?
I will tell you. I'll tell you. So yeah, stuff like that. I'll answer any questions that you have, and we can answer questions amongst the group about stuff, and yeah. So and also I'm gonna look in to see if Carl, you have that book that has all the recipes in it, don't you?
I do.
I wonder if there's one in there for Icewind Dale.
I was looking.
There
Called the
is?
Mind Flare.
Yeah,
I was gonna say there was
about to
one called
mention
the
the
Mind
Mind
Flare.
Flare.
I know. I kind of was tempted to I've never had mead before, and I know that's a good mead. That's a thing that they drink. So I
Yeah.
might get mead, but I don't drink alcohol, but I will to hang out with you guys. So
Let me take a look at that, and I'll make sure to send you a recipe. If
sure,
there's
something with the drinks or something. Yeah, the Mind Flare one or something. That'd be cool. So we could all sort of drink the same thing. But
We did the Cholton Zombie last
time, yeah, they were. I got pretty.
That was really boozy. I was like, I'm pretty
really
drunk right
boozy.
now.
Yeah. But also, like, the reason that I have all these like organized our final hangout is because the last time we had a game, like we played D&D, you did that fight against the not Rosny Sea. You remember the tunnel
Save
fight?
point.
The tunnel
Yeah,
fight.
the save point. Yeah, so we had something to do while we hung out, but this time we don't. So I try to come up with some fun stuff for us to do. Some little game, like a little game.
I'm
where we
very
get to
much
vote.
looking forward to this. It sounds awesome.
Yeah,
What if
I learned how to make polls on Discord, and that's why I decided to do
Oh,
it.
nice. There it is. Got to make some use of that skill.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we can count the number of double moonbeams that there were.
I think I made a fake achievement for a triple moonbeam.
Oh, dude, let me write that down.
down.
Let me write that down. All right, so we'll come up with a name for it. I gotta write it down. I have really funny names for all of them. So
you gotta.
yeah. So we'll come up with a name for the triple moonbeam one while we hang out. But okay, all right, guys, that was the last session of a fucking whole ass Rime of the Frostmaiden. You guys play. When I first picked up this book and started reading it, I knew all the stuff that you guys discovered, and that's why I was so excited to play with you guys. Wasn't it awesome?
Dude, I'm so sad. That was great.
Yeah.
I think so.
Is
too.
there anything
Hell
still
yeah.
on the GM layer on this map?
Yes. But there are things that I purposefully did not include.
Oh yeah.
Actually, there's only one thing that's still on the GM layer. It's called the Cave of the Berserkers. And the reason that I didn't bring it up was because there was a bunch of Reghead warriors possessed by Chartelin. And the way that the whole thing is set up, it doesn't work with the way my Reghead warriors are. Because in this setting, they're actually like barbarians, right? So that's set up for them to be barbarians. I didn't like the whole thing, so I just... But yeah, I mean, you guys uncovered everything on the map for sure. All right, well, I will see you guys next week.
See ya.
And then the following week after that is a session 0.
Shit.
I'm gonna pick right back up. I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, I got my character laid out. Spell list is ready.
All right. Then I will be picking back up with a session 0 right after our hangout session.
Okay, so the 5th is the closeout session, and then the 12th is session 0.
Yep.
All gas, no brakes. Let's go.
I'm ready. I've been waiting to play this new one.
See y'all next week.
Yeah.
Damn.
Great
All right, guys.
campaign.
Hey,
One more
great
thank you,
campaign.
Jay. That was awesome.
Yes.
That
Thanks.
was
Thank you
That
for
was
all the
fun.
work you put into it.
Thank you guys for playing and sticking around. I really appreciate it.
That was awesome.
Cheers, guys. See you next
Yep.
week.
See you guys next
Next
week.
week.
Next week.
Yeah.
All
Here's
right.
to many more
Goodbye.
great sessions. See you guys.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Bye.